3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
Assalamu alaikum, family. It's your brother Landon X. This is NationTown TV live. I know it's been a minute, NationTown TV family, but you know your brother has been extremely busy. Man, got a new baby, got a lot of things going on, man. We taking this teaching to every nook and cranny here in the state of California. A lot going on, but I want to hit this real fast and important topic, as you saw in the actual flyer. As you can see, we're gonna deal with a heavy topic. I might do a part two because we won't be on long at all tonight. I have a meeting to get on that we're gonna touch on as well. Um, but we got to deal with this, man. We got to deal with this. Stop getting punked by your pain. And what does that mean? Because this is actually one of the heaviest pieces of artillery that our enemy is aiming at us right now. We don't even know it. Of course, this is NationTown TV live, brought to you by NationTownStore.com. Make sure you show love to NationTownStore.com. We got the classic all natural soap back. Make sure you check for that. NationTownStore.com. Shout out to everybody chiming in. I know it's been a while. We're going to strive, man. Strive to get more consistent, but it's just been more important things going on. You know, it ain't like I just been sitting back on my shoulders with my feet kicked up. That would be nice every once in a while, but that ain't been the case. And of course, you can always show us some love right there, $ Nation Town. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your soul, but most of all, whatever's in your pocket. Show us some love, dear brothers. But let me start off in the proper fashion. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who appeared in the person of this man right here, Master Father Muhammad. Man, the long-awaited Mahdi of the Muslims, the Messiah of the Christians. Man, 9,000 miles by himself. I mean, he didn't have a dog with him or nothing. He came by himself to seek and save which was lost. And I further bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. Listen, man, I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger with all due love and respect for Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace be upon him. However, the Holy Quran made me a promise and made you a promise that certainly a messenger would be raised for every nation. And if you go into the Holy Quran, Surah 44:5, it's a command from God where he uses the soft pronoun us, a command from us that certainly we were raising a messenger for every nation. And that, dear brother, that you see right here, that Rasulullah. Oh man, beautiful brother, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He is the promised messenger of the Holy Quran for this nation in this dispensation, but that's his title at minimum. He's in fact the exalted Christ. Keep tuning in to NationTown TV. We're going to talk more about him. But the bottom line is I would know nothing of Master Father Muhammad or the most honorable Elijah Muhammad if it wasn't for the divine guidance teaching of that torchlight and criterion in our midst. I'm speaking of none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And those three great names, I greet the Nation Town family. Man, it has been a while. I miss y'all so much. I greet y'all in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum, man. Oh, man. Why this topic? Again, we're not going to be on long. That's going to be the new format of NationTown TV Live. You know, we used to be on here for hours. Hours. Shout out to everybody chiming in. We still want you to hit us up with your questions and comments. We still want that. We still want you to show us some love. We will superimpose questions and comments as they come in, but we won't have a whole lot of time. But if it's a good enough comment, good enough question, even if I don't agree with the comment, hey man, NationTown TV, we're not scared. But I will say this, dear family, why this topic? Stop getting punked by your pain. You know, NationTown TV, one thing that we don't do, and you might run into some, social media experts who might say, oh man, Brother Landon, NationTown, whatever the people are talking about, whatever's on your timeline, whatever the hot topic is of the hour, you got to run the social media as soon as it happens and talk about it. Just give you what they call hot take. We never took that. We never took that route. And it's not because of, it's a strategic reason. It's a nationalist reason. I am a member of the Nation of Islam. I'm actually in a assistant minister out here at Muhammad Mosque number 27. But when I do Nation Town, I'm not doing it as quote unquote a representative of the Nation of Islam. I'm not doing it. My words on NationTown TV, whether you see me with a bow tie or not, is not to represent the opinions necessarily of the Nation of Islam. So you got to be very careful about what you jump on. But one thing that NationTown TV we try to do and we strive to do when it comes to looking at your timeline, meaning the news, people don't even watch the news no more. Now everybody's on their timeline. And what we try to do, we try to give you the time between the lines. Meaning that we try to go what's between the lines, not just the hot topics, but what's spurring the hot topics. What's going on that's causing the thing that everybody is talking about, or things that everybody is talking about. And that's what we try to do in NationTown TV Live. We're not in the business of just anything that happens, man. Anybody gets slapped in the face, somebody dies, whatever the case may be, if it's some kind of, what we try to do is figure out, why is it that reaction? What's going on that makes us think that that's what should be talked about and what should be discussed? So why a title like Stop Getting Punked by Your Pain? Again, this is NationTown TV Live, brought to you by NationTownStore.com. But why such a title? Stop Getting Punked by Your Pain. Now, if you think about it, probably the most famous bully in the history of film and television is this man right here, or this character, I should say. May Allah be pleased with our brother Tiny Lister. But we all seen this movie Friday, Debo. Debo, he was a very interesting character. He had the whole hood shook. Like Smokey said, Chris Tucker, I got mind control over Debo. He be like, shut the F up. But when he leave, I'll be talking again. And what I'm finding in our community is that there's a Debo amongst us that nobody's talking about. Now, we got a lot of brothers, and these days even sisters, who walk around with their chest stuck out, they fist ball, looking like Debo, looking for a fight. Swear that they ain't the one to mess with. They are not that Negro to steal on, as Charlie Murphy would say. But there's a Debo that too many of us are scared of, and it leads to a lot of our issues. Shout out to everybody chiming in. Hit us up with your comments and questions. We'll superimpose them over the screen, like so. We will not be on long, maybe another 20 minutes. Shout out Sister Shonda Joy X, our executive producer. But I want to get right into this topic. And I want y'all to watch it. It's going to be a quick video, but I want y'all to watch it a couple of times, and we may do a couple of you know parts to this subject, because it's something I want to go deep on, but I don't want to, like I said, we trying to do quick 20-30 minute videos. That way it makes it easier for me to touch bases with y'all and be more consistent. But with that said, I want to introduce you to some and reintroduce to others this right here. This is called epigenetics. Epigenetics is a real thing. It's a real issue. And epigenetics is an emerging area of scientific research that shows how environmental influence, listen, environmental influence, children's experience actually affect the expression of their genes. This means the old idea that genes are set in stone has been disproven. This is major, man. Nature versus nurture is no longer a debate. It's nearly always both. It's nearly always both. Epigenetics. Now, when you look at America, and you have to ask yourself, who genetically, in a genetic historical standpoint, has gone through the most drama as children or adults? What people on this earth has seen the most drama? Of course, man, it's the Aboriginal man and woman, particularly here in the hills of North America. And do you know that if your grandparents or great grandparents experienced a certain level of trauma dealing with any particular subject, it could be sent down through the genetic pool, and it can cause the actual reaction, an epic reaction. When something is epic, it's above something. It doesn't change your DNA, but it lays a layer on top of the DNA that makes you predisposed to certain things like depression and anxiety, or makes you avoid certain things that, if it wasn't for those epigenetics, you probably would tackle and deal with. Epigenetics is a real thing, and it affects all people, but of course it would affect those who deal with the most trauma, which of course is us. Well, what do we mean, pardon me on that, dear family, but what do we mean with epigenetics, and what do we mean by stop getting punked by your pain? Again, like I said, NationTown TV, we deal with the topic in between the timelines. We deal with the time in between the line, not just whatever the hot topic is. When I look at all the hot topics on my timeline, in the news, that you hear being talked about in the barbershop, or whatever the case may be, I see a people, myself included, that's constantly getting punked by our pain, our past pain. We do a great, listen, man, black folks, we do a great job of masking that pain. We do a great job of acting like, man, I'm the hardest Negro that ever walked the earth. Don't nothing faze me. If you get on my nerves, I'm just gonna cut you off. You know, this, that, and the third. But it doesn't really work out like that, does it? Because here's the thing: when you are really over something, you're really over it. You can't really be re-stimulated. You really can't. Nobody can bring it up and hurt your feelings. But you know that we're getting punked by our pain. That we can go off and make all the money in the world. We can go off and do all these things. We can reach certain heights, reach certain career aspirations. We'll do all of that, but still we got this pain buried deep in our heart. It may be epigenetics. It may be our own personal pain that we went through. But when we do it, when it comes up, you see a malfunction in our nature and in our character that causes a lot of our problems today. What am I talking about? Well, first and foremost, the easiest place where you can find it is here. Not just relationships, but the way we deal and talk about relationships. You might think it's a semantical thing. It's about semantics. Well, men need to do this. Or black women, Aboriginal women, they ain't doing this. Men need to do this. Women need to do this. Women, you know. And some of us less enlightened is niggas and bitches. You know, these niggas need to do this. These niggas need to do that. Okay. But all I see, and it's not because I'm some expert, it's just I really study my people, and I always have. It's a gift and a curse, because I just was born in, I mean, just nose wide open, wet behind the ears, in love with my people. Just bottom line. Hit us up with your questions and comments as we go. We'll superimpose them on the screen. But here's the thing: when it comes to relationships, here's what I found as it's being talked about on platforms like social media. Whenever there's a situation like the Jada Will Smith situation, when there's, the back and forth debate about certain, YouTube scholars and YouTube experts like the late Kevin Samuels and Derek Jackson and all this kind of stuff. As soon as these people are brought up, their names are just uttered. You don't hear a psychological or logical analysis of them or their points from either side. I don't care what it is they're saying. They're yay, nay, if they support it, if they're against it. You're not hearing logic, dear family. You are 100%, at least 98% of the time, you're hearing pain. You're hearing pain. Individual pain, deep pain. And listen, when I say that, as far as relationships are concerned, first thing might come to your mind is, oh, brother, I get it. You saying that this person is expressing their opinion based off of a failed relationship in the past. Possibly, but you can go back further than that. Do you know a lot of our relationship pain? You can go back before we even started so-called dating. There are a lot of sisters out there, and their real problem with men didn't start with any of their ex-boyfriends, any ex-husband, any brother that ghosted them or did this to them or did that. It probably started with their daddy. It probably started with an uncle who used to slip into their room in the middle of the night. It probably started with their brothers who they hardly ever got to see because they was coming in and out of prison. You just, it's a pain thing. And you know how I know? You know how I know that it's pain? Because people who don't even know each other can get on a social media thread and start talking so matter of factly about a particular topic with so much emotion and vitriol. Listen, as soon as vitriol gets into the game and name calling and all of that, you know you're dealing with a hurt little boy or a hurt little girl. Because it don't get to that with anything else. If I say, man, I really, and this is a true story. That ain't got nothing to do with my religion or nothing. I don't eat cake. I don't mess with cake. I just never thought cake was something good to eat. The icing is cool, but all that breadish, dry, and I don't care how moist it is. I ain't no cake dude. And if you jump in front of me and say, man, I love cake. I eat cake once a week, nigga. Okay. All right, brother. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. I'm gonna keep on not eating cake. You gonna keep on eating your one slice a week or a day or whatever, man. And I hope that every slice that you put in your mouth, is a moist and tasty one. But I'm good. I'm cool on it. I'm cool on the cake, and that's it. I'm not gonna get emotional. I ain't gonna start breaking. Oh man, I'm not gonna think no kind of way about you. You shouldn't think no kind of way about. I hope you ain't tripping on cake that hard, and you probably not. You're just gonna be like, man, you missing out, and that's the end of the thing. I mean, if we talking bean pie or something, that's a different story. But you know that there's pain there when it's a basic topic It's a bunch of people who don't really know each other, but things get vitriolic. That's because it's pain up under there. And then here's what you see. You're seeing something that you see in the geopolitical stage. You see it going on with Ukraine and Russia. I ain't gonna go too deep on this, but you start seeing what's called a proxy war. Whenever you do something by proxy, that means you're using somebody or something to do something or do the same thing that you would do, but you're letting it do it for you. So it's doing it by proxy. America right now is involved in the Ukraine and Russia war by proxy. They sitting behind, they ducking behind Ukraine, basically almost like a puppet master. It's a proxy war. And what we do in a lot of these social media, and it's not just relationships, it could be relationships, it could be uh, business, it could be religion, it's a lot of things that we waste a lot of time arguing about. And we ain't really even arguing with each other. We arguing with each other's pain and each other's proxies. Because here's the thing, let me go back to relationships. You had a relationship, you was in a relationship with somebody, went bad. They did this, did that to you. You never got over it. Now your timeline and all these memes you posted about cutting people off and living your best life, and you catching flights. You're not catching feelings. All these little euphemisms. Oh, okay, yeah. But as soon as the topic comes up, here comes the proxy war. Here comes the proxy war. Now you're not arguing with the topic at hand. You're not even promoting or in favor of the person, the celebrity or the YouTube host or whatever that's at hand that appears to be the topic. No, what you mad at, you having a proxy war. You having an argument with that ex that broke your heart, broke your spirit. But by proxy, you doing it on this, either in the barbershop or in this conversation on social media. It's a proxy war. You got your heart broken. What this person is saying reminds you of that broken heart. So you just start going through because you're getting punked by your pain. You ready to fight everybody else. Yeah, that's the thing sometimes about Debos and bullies. Remember, Smokey said, man, I got mind control over Debo. I mean, he was snatching chains, snatching money, taking bicycles. Most of the movie did nobody do anything to him. They was arguing with each other, going back and forth with each other. Smokey and Craig and Red and that, you know what I mean? But would nobody do nothing to Debo? That's how we are with our pain. I'm talking some of the so-called hardest Negroes. And we got to stop using that term, hard. We got to stop using that because the hardest thing to do in this life is to deal with self. Deal with our own pain. Shout out to everybody chiming in. We ain't going to be on long. We about to get off in a hot minute. But I promise that I will superimpose comments. Brother Reggie, Reggie Comedy, says, my God, outstanding, Brother Landon, always a bright spirit, all praises due to Allah. Thank you, Brother Reggie. That's my brother right there. He got some exciting things in the works. I ain't gonna snitch on you, brother, but follow my brother. He got some not just comedy, a lot of big things going on. But with these proxy wars, we basically running from the real Debo. Our own personal trauma, our own personal flaws, our own personal pain. And this is the actual definition of proxy war. War instigated by a major power which does not itself become involved. The major power is your emotions in this context. The major power is your emotions. It's your pain. But you don't just say, you know what, if the dude's name that broke your heart, sister, if his name was Michael, you don't just say, man, F Michael. Just get it off your chest. No, instead you say F Kevin Samuels. Brother, you don't just say, you know what, F Shaniqua. She messed me up, man. Hey, go get some help. Go get a psychiatrist, get audited, whatever. No, you don't do that. That's too much like hard. That's too much like right. So you sit there and you look for a proxy war. You looking for a Ukraine. See, America's scared of Russia. Russia is really the Debo to America. America's not even Craig. America's more like Red, and Russia is Debo. They're scared right now. They're scared of Debo. So what you looking for? You look for a Ukraine. You're looking for somebody who can just put a dent in Russia. Every time they drop one little raggedy bomb, you like, yeah, because you scared to run up on them yourself. So we do these proxy wars when these topics come up, and that's why we like certain personalities on the internet and social media, because they throw stones at a beast that we scared to really deal with, and we hide behind that proxy. But it all comes down to our pain. It even comes down to pain in the violence in our communities. The so-called black on black crime. I don't believe in black on black crime. I don't think there's an instance in the history of the world where a real black man harmed another real black man. There's been many instances where a nigga harmed a black man or a nigga harmed a nigga, but black on black, that's an oxymoron. That don't even make sense. Them two don't add up. But even in those situations, the motive don't really make sense. These days, listen, the dope ain't in the streets like it used to be. The money ain't in the streets like it used to be. These crimes are happening because brother is, first of all, high out of his mind. And all of these drugs, they go right into the mental and psychological centers, the same centers where your emotions are. Deals with the same endorphins that cause pleasure and pain. So all their emotional senses are going crazy. Somebody looked at them wrong. Somebody said something they don't like on social media. You got gangbanging on social media, and boom, somebody's gone. Somebody's dead. A whole neighborhood is shot up. We have issues with our emotions and with pain when we just dealing with each other in black constructs, like the Nation of Islam, Black Panther Party, whatever. Or just a business, a black business. Or a white business where we two black people working for the same white man. We not mad at the white man. He's the Debo in the situation. We mad at each other. But it's pain at the end of the day. We definitely gonna have to do a part 2 on this because I'm about to be done. But let's talk solutions. I don't never like to talk a problem without a solution. Y'all know the terminology that I use with the Nation of Islam and the mosque piddle, because the mosque is a hospital. It's a hospital. I think it's preposterous that people go into any construct, especially something like the Nation of Islam, and then turn on their heels and their excuse is, oh, they treated me bad. That just means that you failed at the teachers, because a huge part of the teachers is learning how to deal with your brother. Because if you can't handle your brother and your sister, you don't stand a chance with the white man. Sorry about that. So you had that sandpaper in the wood situation. Which one you gonna be, sandpaper or the wood? When you use the sandpaper on wood, the sandpaper runs out. It goes flat. But when you're done with the work, the wood looks beautiful. And you got a pile of sandpaper and a bunch of scraps of wood on the ground, but then the finished product is beautiful. But y'all heard me talk about the hospital, that hospital. Y'all heard me talk about how when you come into something like the mosque or something that's about self-improvement, you're going to see people bleeding. You're going to see people hemorrhaging. You're going to see problems. But not only is the hospital, but I got to thinking about the gym. The gym. The funny thing about the gym, when you go to it, if you go to any fitness center, everything in that building is a torture device. In fact, gyms themselves are torture chambers. Straight up torture chambers. Everything in there is meant to resist you. They literally call it resistance training. So you got the hospital, but in Islam, you got a mosque, you have masjids, which you find normally in the Orthodox community, we do have masjids in the Nation of Islam. We have one at our headquarters, and we have one at different mosques around the nation. But you got the mosque, you got the masjid, so that means you got the hospital, which is like a hospital, and then you got the masjid, the masjid and the masjid. Listen, man, we got to deal with each other. We got to deal with each other. We got to deal with our pain. We got to deal with ourselves. Go to the hospital. Go to the masjid. Go. Stop being a punk. See, we think being hard or being tough is just all about who's willing to fight, who's willing to talk reckless to somebody else. Can you talk reckless to yourself? Can you talk reckless to your worst part? Or do you always defend your worst part? Some of us sound like a battered wife, a battered female, when somebody offends our flaws. Oh, it's okay. Like how Regional Minister Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad said, oh, I know he knocked out my eye, but I still got one left. That's how you act about your pain and your worst part. When somebody say, hey man, you might want to work on this good. Oh, who you to judge me? See, you a battered wife. Stop getting punked. And I already know what we're gonna talk about on the next part. I'm gonna close this out. But I'm gonna tell you something that leads to this. Some of you that's been following some of my content, you probably know what I'm gonna get into. But I'm gonna get into it deeper in the next episode of this. I want to get into this. I want to get into this, and I want to go real deep into it because this ain't really what you think it is. I know you see it. I know you can't watch a TV show. You can't watch a commercial. You can't look at a billboard. You can't do nothing today without them seem like they trying to shove this down our throats, down our children's throats. But I'm gonna tell you, that's not the real thing. That's not the real goal. That's not the real agenda of. In fact, I'm gonna tell you something. The gay agenda is really a subordinate agenda. It's a proxy itself. It's something bigger that they aiming for. Now, if they can mess around and make your child gay in the process, good. That's killing two birds with one stone. But that ain't the real prize. That ain't what they really looking for. It comes back to not getting punked by our pain. It comes back to pain. It comes back to emotion. It comes back to feelings. That's what the gay agenda and a lot of these other agendas are really about. It's about the political agendas. It all comes back to pain and emotion. And I want to read something before I get up out of here, because what I'm about to get into is this right here, our study group, our study guides, self-improvement, the basis of community development. It don't say nothing about starting this kind of business is the basis or making this kind of money is it, or if we do this, if y'all do that, if y'all over there do this, if y'all over there, if the Muslims do this and the Moors do that and the Hebrew Israelites do no. Self-improvement is the basis for community development. Let's read what the minister says and we're gonna get up out of here. This is what the minister says in the study guide titled Rising Above Emotion into the Thinking of God. Listen to that title right there. Rising above emotion into the thinking. So that's, for those of you who grew up playing video games like me, that title suggests that the final boss that you got to beat to become God is emotion, not economics, not how physically tough you are, not going out and getting a gun, not going out and getting a dashiki, not going out and getting some type of trivial knowledge. Trivial knowledge. We trivialize knowledge these days. But no, rising above emotion is the last boss. It's the final hurdle to the thinking of God. But listen to what the minister says, and we're going to get up out of here. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, our focus on pain and the resulting failure to question Allah God caused us to question the servant. He's talking about the fall of the nation in 1975. He said it caused us to forget all the good the servant brought into our lives. Speaking of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Thus we threw the servant away as unworthy and cast aside the body of knowledge revealed to him as the means of our salvation. No wonder the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked the question, how strong is our foundation? Can we survive? The foundation is the 44 years of the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, and its successors. Now listen to this. If only we were mature enough to put our emotions in check, our focus would not have been on our pain. Yeah, we're going to have to do a part 2 to this. And I'm going to get into the real agenda of the gay agenda, the real goal of the gay agenda. And it actually connects to an old agenda that dates all the way back to the early 20th century. And it don't have nothing to do with sex. Don't have nothing to do with sexual orientation. We're going to go deep into it the next episode. Inshallah, next Friday. We may even do it earlier than that. But next Friday, same God channel, same God time. We're going to get into it. Those of you in the LA area, come on out to 8039 South Vermont. I know the date right there at the top left says last week. But we doing the same thing. It's an all hood day. We doing it all throughout the whole month of June. We inviting all of our street soldiers. Don't get scared if you don't claim nothing. And even some of y'all that do claim gangs, don't be scared. Ain't nothing gonna go down in front of us. Believe that. But we inviting all the hoods out. We dedicating the whole month to our student captain emeritus, Captain Shaheed Muhammad. May Allah be forever pleased. I know he's pleased. I know he's pleased. Final call to Islam. Our beloved brother Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad. Come out and be Nation Town's guest if you in the LA area. If not, go to your listen, man. The Hospital Challenge is still going on. Whatever city you in, if you don't know where your closest study group or mosque is, hit us up at NationTownTV@gmail.com or hit us up with a DM here on YouTube or Facebook or even Instagram. We will do the legwork for you and find out where your closest mosque and or study group is. And get out there, man. Don't be an intellectual, psychological, or spiritual coward. Come and find out for yourself. This is life-giving teaching for all of us. Listen, man, it ain't about making you no Muslim, because hell, that's something that's above our pay grade. In fact, you already a Muslim. You can't do that. It's already been done. And then lastly, but not least, the lifestyle of a FOI and the MGT. It's like being a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL. All of y'all ain't built for this. I'm just gonna keep it real. You may not be built for this, but you can come in and get this knowledge, man, from our Western Regional Student Minister, whoever the local representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is in your locale. But with that said, family, thank y'all for chiming in. Shout out to everybody who got on. I see you, brother Ansar El Muhammad. All praises due to Allah. Always enjoying my brother. Man, for my brothers on the inside, my brother Ansar El, and just everybody in the Nation Town family, we are going to strive to be more consistent. It's just we've been so busy, man. Nation work, family work, a lot. But, you know, I thought about it. I was like, man, I got to touch bases with the Nation Town family. We will be back next week. I really want to stick to this Friday. I want to stick to these Fridays because I naturally go right into our study group meeting that I host sometimes here in Los Angeles. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for any future dates, any date changes. But the next topic we're going to do, unless something else comes up, eventually we're going to get part 2 on this. And I want to get into that real agenda that's behind the gay agenda and a lot of other agendas, because that's the key to us not being punked by our pain. But with that said, dear family, thank you for listening. I'm going to leave you as I greeted you in the words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.